Hello friends, welcome back. In this video, we are going to learn the next tool from Lean Six Sigma and how we can use the AI tools to use this tool effectively. With the help of practical example, we will see how we can create the presentable and relevant SIPOC by using these AI tools. So let's begin. SIPOC is one of the most important tools that is used in every Lean Six Sigma project to understand high-level process mapping. SIPOC is an acronym for Supplier, Input, Process, Output, and Customer. SIPOC enables all team members to view the process in the same light. SIPOC is used to communicate the process at high level and defines the scope of the improvement efforts. This is the first step in cause and effect thinking, contributes to understanding how the suppliers, inputs, process steps, and outputs affect the customer needs. With understanding of this tool, now let's understand how we can use the AI tools for creation of this SIPOC. There are two tools that we are going to learn today. The first one is ChatGPT and the second one is a Copilot. Let's start with the ChatGPT first. To create SIPOC in ChatGPT, we need three important elements. The first one is one master prompt. Then second element is we need to answer 5 important questions. And the third part is one assembly prompt. As you can see on this page, the first prompt that we need to give to the ChatGPT is the opening prompt. Here you can see what is that prompt. I am working on a Lean Six Sigma project to improve. We need to mention here as a process name. Please help me to create a high-level SIPOC diagram. Ask me the right questions to gather suppliers, inputs, process steps, outputs, and customers. So if you enter this prompt into the ChatGPT, it is going to ask you some questions. So let's copy this prompt. Open the ChatGPT and at the home screen, you can insert your prompt here. As we are going to take an example of productivity improvement, so what we need to do, we need to replace the process name by the low productivity improvement. So we can add it here as a improve low productivity in the production department. Then click enter or click on this arrow. Now you can see the output is going to be generated. Let's review the output from the ChatGPT. Perfect. Let's build your SIPOC step by step. I will ask you a few focused questions for each element, that is suppliers, inputs, process, outputs, and customers. Once we gather your answers, I will prepare a clean SIPOC table for you. So you can see here for the suppliers there are some questions. For inputs, there are some questions, process steps, outputs, and customers. In each of these categories, there are some questions which is given by the ChatGPT. At the end of this output, the ChatGPT says, if you answer these questions, I will organize everything into a clear SIPOC diagram for your Lean Six Sigma project. Would you like me to ask these questions one by one so we finalize each SIPOC element? Or would you prefer to answer all at once and then I create the diagram? So based on that, what you can do, either you can copy these questions into the Word format and you can answer those questions, or you can also ask the ChatGPT to ask the questions one by one. If you are using the free version of ChatGPT, I will recommend that please answer all the questions once into the Word format, like the format that I have shown you just now. In either way, if you are going to provide the output in the structured way, the SIPOC that will be created by the ChatGPT will be meaningful. Before to answer these questions, let's understand what is the input that we are going to provide to the ChatGPT. Of course, I discussed about the opening prompt. Then we need to answer the 5 important questions like related to suppliers, who provides raw materials or information to the process, who supports the process, like whether it's a maintenance, HR, IT, SM, anything, or it can be the external suppliers. In input section, we need to answer the question, what resources are required for this process? In process, we need to answer the question, what are the 5 to 7 high-level steps in the process? As output, we need to answer the question, what are the key outputs of the process? And at the last, we need to answer the question related to customers, who receives these outputs, internal or your external customers. Once it is done, then we need to provide the assembly prompt. Now create a SIPOC table with the 5 columns, suppliers, inputs, process, outputs, and customer, in a clean and professional format for presentation. So that prompt we are going to provide to the ChatGPT. So that is basically going to assemble all the answers that we have given to the ChatGPT. After that, we can have the refinement prompt. Format the SIPOC into a professional and presentable version with concise wording, max 7 items per column. Now let's answer all these questions for the model project for which we are going to create the SIPOC diagram. So to save the time, what I have done, I have already answered these questions. So the prompt one is, help me create a SIPOC diagram for productivity improvement in production. Ask me the right questions, right? So the questions will be asked like this, and I already answered those questions so that we can save the time. Then we are going to provide the assembly prompt like, now create a SIPOC table with 5 columns like suppliers, input, process, outputs, and customer. The third prompt that we can provide is the format SIPOC into a professional version, max 7 items per column. And at the last, if you want to visualize better way, you can also provide the prompt 4, which is convert SIPOC into a diagram for PowerPoint or Excel. As we discussed, we are going to provide this entire information to the ChatGPT once, and we will generate a SIPOC diagram. So what we will do, now let's come back to the ChatGPT and provide the input here as create a SIPOC based on the below details. And then you can paste the entire details here and make an enter. As output, we can clearly see here the SIPOC diagram has created. Perfect. You already structured this like a live flow of ChatGPT assisted SIPOC creation. Let's go step by step and generate the final SIPOC output based on your details. So this is the SIPOC table which is got created, and the presentation ready version is also got created, which is concise, clean, and boardroom ready. If we come to the step number 5, we can also see that the diagram example is also created by the ChatGPT, and it is asking you, I can also create a PowerPoint ready SIPOC diagram for you. Would you like me to generate it PowerPoint style or Excel table visualization? So if you answer this question as a yes, so it will also create an output for you. You can see that is analyzing the data. And after that, the SIPOC diagram is created. So you can see here as a PowerPoint presentation for the SIPOC diagram is ready. You can click on that and you can download it to your system. It will also ask you whether to prepare an Excel version with the same visualization. So you can use whichever is convenient. So if you can say it's as answer as a yes, then it will also create an Excel template for you. So you can just download this template and you can use it for your presentation. Here is the output. Here is the Excel version of your SIPOC diagram. So you can click on that, you can download to your system, and you can use it for your presentation. Let me show you that what is the output that you will get. So you can see here there are the 5 columns: suppliers, input, process, output, and customers. So this is our SIPOC diagram which is ready. There is another alternative, like if you go to the step 3, you can see there is the detailed SIPOC which is got created. You can also copy this table and come to the Excel file and you can paste that here so that you need not to wait like to create the ChatGPT output. So this is your high level SIPOC which is ready. This is the effective and relevant SIPOC because that is generated based on the input that we have provided to the ChatGPT. Now let's talk about the another AI tool which is Copilot. So what we will do, we will perform all the operations into the Copilot and let's see what are the results we will get. Okay, so we have the Copilot window which is open. Now let's go back to our prompt and let's copy that first prompt, which is help me to create a SIPOC diagram for productivity improvement in production. Ask me the right question. So what we can do, we can copy this and we can paste that into the Copilot. And let's see what is output that we will get. Great. So you can see what is output here. To help you create a SIPOC diagram for productivity improvement in production, I will guide you through the key components like suppliers, inputs, process, output, and customers. I would ask you targeted questions for each part so we can build a clear and effective diagram together. So it is asking some of the questions related to the process, output, customers, input, and suppliers. If you can see, This is the exact process that we need to follow while we are going to create the SIPOC diagram. It has to be start with the process first, then what is output and who is a customer for our process, then what is the input and who are the suppliers for this process. So Copilot is going to follow the exact procedure that needs to be followed while creating a SIPOC. You can see here the number of questions that is asked by the Copilot. As the end of this output, Copilot gives us a message. Once you answer this, I will organize everything into a clean SIPOC diagram for you. Would you like me to generate a visual diagram as well once we have the details? So you can see here there are two important tabs. The first one is let's start with the production process step, or list key output and their metrics. So if you are going to click on any one of these, automatically it is also going to help you the other elements. Let's say we are going to click on this. Let's start with the production process steps and click on that. As the output we will get, let's define the major steps in a production process. To make this accurate and useful, I will ask you a few clarifying questions. So these are the 5 questions which is asked by the Copilot, and we need to answer these questions so that we can create a meaningful SIPOC. The first question, of course, we can see here. What product or type of product is being manufactured? What is the starting point of the process? What are the intermediate steps? Are there any quality checks or inspections involved? What is the final step before the product is considered complete? Below these questions, the message is, once you provide this information, I will draft a clear list of process steps and then we can move on to the next part of the SIPOC diagram. Ready to describe your production flow. So we need to just keep on answering the questions, and after the end of this, we will get the effective SIPOC. As we already created some prompt for the ChatGPT, let's see if we are going to insert these prompts into the Copilot, what are the results we are getting. So let's go to our prompt and copy these entire details. Come to the Copilot and add the note here as create a SIPOC based on this information. Or the details are based on the below details. So we can paste it here and make an enter. So you can see what is the message that Copilot is giving. Thanks, Vijay. Based on the structured information you provided, here is a professional SIPOC table formatted for your presentation. So this is the SIPOC which is created by the Copilot, which has the suppliers, input, process, output, and customers. Would you like me to generate a visual SIPOC diagram for PowerPoint or Excel? I can create a clean exportable image or file for you. So we can say that create an Excel file. Click on that and you can see the Excel file is getting generated. Yeah, the file is got generated. We can click on that. It is getting downloaded. Click on open file. And it is got generated. So this is exactly the similar one that we got from the ChatGPT. So both of these tools, ChatGPT and Copilot, is helping us to create the meaningful SIPOC that can be presented directly for your presentations. But the key point here is the input that we need to provide to both of these AI tools must be accurate and relevant. This is all about SIPOC, and we had seen two important AI tools, ChatGPT and Copilot, to create a meaningful SIPOC. If you found this information useful, please do not forget to like, comment and subscribe. Thank you for your valuable time, and let's see the another important Lean Six Sigma tool with the help of AI tools in the next video.